Hi, I'm Debbie Bowie, helping you win the war against paper. Today I want to talk to you about paper clutter clearing essentials. First of all, remember, don't ever start with paper. If you have a lot of clutter, you never start with paper. It's the most difficult to clear, the most boring, the hardest to do. If you start with paper, you'll quit. What I recommend that you do if you have a lot of paper clutter is pull it all together, put it in a bag or a box or a pile and set it aside. Then clear the rest of your space. And then finally, when the rest of the space is clear, back into your paper. Once everything else is clear, the energy in the space will feel so good that facing the paper will seem much more doable to you. I also recommend that when you finally start dealing with your paper, you pull out a pile at a time, set the pile in front of you, and resist the urge to start at the top of the pile with a single piece of paper. Most people, when they're clearing paper clutter, start at the top of the pile with whatever's on the top of the pile. If you do that, you will also quit. A way to make paper clutter clearing happen quickly, and that's what you need to stay engaged, is to pull out the big chunks of paper from that stack. Look for file folders, or magazines, or newsletters, or thick stacks of paper stapled together. Pull out those big chunks, make decisions about them, and then move on. Working your way from the biggest chunks of paper down to the smaller chunks and finally to individual pieces of paper. If you do paper like that, you'll get the results the fastest and keep yourself encouraged throughout the process. It's really a psychological process you're doing to keep yourself engaged because it is so boring and not fun to do. And the other thing, remember, when you're making decisions about what to keep and what to get rid of, if the only two categories of things to keep are papers that have some sentimental value or papers that you will use somehow. Usually that means you'll refer to. You'll need to go back to them for some reason. You'll need them for reference or proof that you took an action. So when you're working on your paper, clear, clear, clear. Saving only sentimental papers and papers that you'll use. Now, what I recommend that you do to figure out which papers you use is think about it. When you're holding an insurance paper, it's like, when was the last time I had to go back and retrieve something like this? When have I had to go access my paper, and what kinds of things did I have to pull? For me, it's always been papers that I had to pull to get ready to do a mortgage. They require a lot of papers. And things that I've never had to retrieve before, I don't need to keep. So think about it. What paper do you use? And only keep those papers. Now, it's easy to tell you this strategy for dealing with paper, but knowing what to do and doing it are two different things. And often just getting started with paper is really hard because the energy of the paper is so negative and off-putting. If you find you're still struggling with it, you may want to get some more information or some support to deal with it. I have two options to offer you. One is you could attend a Winning the War Against Paper speech that I'm doing this fall if you live in the Richmond, Virginia area. I'm doing one on September 29th at Henrico, in the Henrico Public School System, and one on October 13th in the Chesterfield County Public School System. You can register for those classes on my website. The other option is to send me an email to request that we schedule a 30-minute free consultation to discuss other paper clutter clearing options. I offer hands-on organizing and I offer organizer coaching. Then we could deal specifically with paper issues. So get what you need. If you need some help, I hope you'll reach out to me. If not, I wish you well in clearing your paper clutter and managing paper to prevent clutter in the future.